Hey everybody, Rick Wegman here, Cross Country Mortgage, here with Cody Clark with Clark Custom Homes. We're here at the Blackaders project where we are at the framing point of construction, and obviously the last video that we did was on the concrete being prepped to be poured. It's been poured obviously, and they have started doing the framing. So Cody, have to ask, how many days do you typically wait before you start framing after the foundation's been poured?
Yeah, so we try to wait the recommended amount of time, 28 days. In the industry, 3 days is pretty common.
Oh wow, okay.
We frame them as early as 7 days, but we try to give it plenty of time to cure because we don't
Okay.
want foundation
Okay,
problems.
perfect, perfect. So when we were out here last, obviously there was no foundation. You guys had all the tubes ran for water and electrical. There's no electrical ran in these tubes. At what point does that actually occur?
Yeah, so after they're done framing, we'll do we call it the MEP stage, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing. So we'll send our plumbers in here. So as soon as they're done, as soon as the framers are done, which they should be done within a week,
Okay.
which is quite astonishing.
Yeah, that's
I
insane.
was like, they're moving quick here, but yeah. So we'll send the plumbers in. They'll get their stuff done. We'll send electrical in, and we'll get HVAC roughed in.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And I noticed that obviously there's smaller tubes for the electrical. Is there a reason why it is so small? Oh, I mean, do people usually want to go with large? They can run stuff later. Like, what's going on with that?
We ran three. We ran three pieces of conduit here, 3/4 inch conduit.
Okay, okay.
So you should have more than enough to run whatever power you need.
Okay, perfect. Okay. And then the other question I have is, how long did it take to get to this stage? So once foundation was ready to go and you guys decided to start, framing, how many days did it take to get to this point?
From the
You started framing until today.
Oh, okay.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like this is
Yeah,
seems far along.
so we started framing 6 days ago.
Jeez.
And we probably have another 5 days left, but we'll be done in a little under 2 weeks.
Wow, that's moving.
Yeah.
How long does it usually take other builders to do it?
Man, it just depends on the size of the home. But yeah, this one I expect a 3 week minimum. 4 or 5 would probably be typical.
Yeah.
We have a huge framing crew.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to accuse us of just slapping them up, because I encourage anyone to send their inspector out here and take a look at our framing crew.
Yeah.
We have 11 guys.
Yeah.
That's why we could build it in 2 weeks.
Well, you're out here, I saw you earlier with the homeowner and, it's just kind of going over things. So it's obviously, QA is happening out here. You're making sure that, it's quality, it's being done correct. And if there is any issues, it's being addressed now.
Sure.
Until potentially later, way further along in the construction
Right.
process. So, which is really good to see. Obviously, you're going to get the confidence of that homeowner knowing that you are literally on site all the time, ensuring a quality product.
Sure.
All right, so I noticed earlier when I was kind of walking through the house, I noticed that this wood is joined, and you called it finger joining, right?
Yes.
Why would you do something like that opposed to just a straight piece of lumber?
Yeah, so we finger joint it because it's stronger and it's straighter, and it actually costs a little bit more to get finger jointed pine, but it's a better product.
Okay.
Overall. You'll have some people say it's not as strong. I mean, I can show you laboratory testing where it's actually stronger than a straight piece.
So you
of wood.
actually do take the time to research the products that go in here. You're not just being told by a vendor, or a crew that, oh, you should do it this way. You're doing your research to make sure that you're putting together a quality home and not
Right.
just the cheapest home.
Yeah, we have options, right? So I
Okay.
mean, as the builder, we do things like we order, zip siding, because I think it's the best. And we'll talk about that here in a minute,
Yeah.
But we have the option of ordering finger jointed pine.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I think it's the best.
Okay.
I think it's the best option. If I was going to build my home,
Yeah.
which I did, I built mine, but I mean, this is what I used.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm not going to put something in your home I wouldn't put in my home.
Okay. Now, how long ago do you think this wood was actually cut and prepped before this is delivered and put up here? How long does that usually take?
Yeah, maybe it was probably cut and prepped probably a month ago. Like I said,
Wow.
we source everything from Oregon and Idaho.
Is there a reason why they typically do that in such short time? And do you not want wood that's been sitting longer, dried, or anything like that? Because I don't really know, obviously.
Yeah, it's just it's hard to store lumber that
Okay.
long, and plus we don't want to cut a bunch.
Yeah.
We don't want to be. We want to be.
Don't want to be wasteful, essentially.
Yeah, we want to be responsible for the resources that we're using for sure.
Okay. All right. So this is the siding that you mentioned earlier. I don't know that you necessarily call it siding, if that's what you actually call it.
It's actually sheathing.
Sheathing. Okay.
Sheathing is the technical term for this.
Okay. So I've seen before where it's like just plywood and then like a paper or something on that when I'm driving through other construction sites. So this is the first time I'm seeing this. Why this opposed to what they're doing on the other construction sites?
Yeah. So in the modern building industry, you have three major options, right? So we have zip board, which is the best.
Okay.
We have Tyvek. So Tyvek is just, it's going to be regular OSB, and then you put Tyvek over it. It's a paper.
Okay.
Is what it is, a waterproof paper. It's
How do you waterproof paper? Is this like the straws
well,
that you
yeah,
get?
yeah. Well, it's literally plastic. It's woven plastic, is what it is.
Okay. Okay.
It's not the best product.
Okay.
It's super common to use it, but you don't get. I mean, you get the water barrier with Tyvek, but you don't get the air barrier. So with Zip, and I don't get any kickbacks from Zip. I just really like their products, but this is rubber.
Okay. So
This
it's
is a
rubberized
this is a rubber membrane,
coating? Okay.
and it's waterproof and it's airproof. And then you're like, well, what about that big hole? I have a little piece of zip tape, but this is not the correct way to do it, but but we use zip tape, and then we actually use, Zip has a roller with little Z's in it,
Okay.
and so once we apply Zip's products in accordance to their
Specs, essentially, their insulation.
yeah,
Okay.
we roll it with their stuff. They warranty it, so it takes the warranty off the builder, and so I'm like, nobody else does that. So that's Zip stands behind their product so much, so they're like, hey, you do it. We told you to do it. We'll warranty it. I'm like, hey. It's a better deal for the customer.
So why do you want to seal it like that though? Why make it airtight?
Yeah. So I mean, we're not losing heat.
Okay.
We're not losing. You're not heating and cooling the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we don't
Not
want
in this
water.
outfit, right?
Yeah, we don't want water getting behind there.
Okay.
So yeah, we use Zip system for the roof. We use Zip system for the walls. We use a Zip system all around. So, and we can, once we get into when we start installing windows, we'll talk about how to properly install windows and why I like the Zip system for making sure windows don't leak.
Okay. So with that being said, what's the cost difference typically from this system to that? I think you said Tyvek, right?
Yeah. So Tyvek. Yeah. So I mean, so this may be $10 a board more, and that sounds like a lot, especially if you're ordering 100 of them.
Yeah.
So but the difference is, if you buy it, you still have to buy OSB, you still have to put it up, then you have to get a crew to come put the Tyvek on, and then you've got to tape it, and then it gets torn, and you've got to repair it,
Yeah.
and then before you know it, you're driving down the road and it's flapping in the wind, and
Yeah.
it was a good solution
Back then, but everything's evolving constantly.
for the time, right?
Yeah.
It was the best solution we had. It was better. Before that, we used tar paper that we used on the roof and put that on the walls.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, how about Tyvek? Okay, that was the best thing. Now we've got something better.
Yeah.
We may come up with something better in the future, but that's kind of my job, is to stay on top of it.
But this is, again, why custom homes, especially by Clark Custom Homes, is a superior product to those big box builders.
Right,
Even
'cause-
though, let's say they sell their house for $500,000, you're selling your house for $500,000, yours is actually a better product.
Yeah, at least you know what you're going to get. So I mean, I'm out here with the homeowner Brandon. We're talking about. He's like, I'm glad you use Zip. Because they work in and around the construction industry, and
Yeah.
he's like, yeah. So it's just, when we build you a house, people say, well, why do you cost more than D.R. Horton? Is it the countertops? I'm like, well, not really.
Yeah.
This is what you're buying.
Yeah.
You're buying good quality lumber. You're buying good quality roofing. You're buying good bones.
So in 30 years, when somebody goes, well, who built this house? And it's Clark Custom Homes, they know they have a quality home.
Yeah.
And that's going to have a better resale value
Absolutely.
than a D.R. Horton home. And not to bash on D.R. Horton, there's obviously a place for them in the industry. But if you want a premier product, you're going with Clark Custom Homes for sure. So.